What's up, interwebs? I'm Tim Green. This is my writing channel with awesome writing content. This is Skyler Grant. This is referring to it. It's now officially just called Skyler Grant.
Okay.
That's what this is going to be called. Skyler Grant is the only novel I've ever pantsed and completed. I started in 2012, and somewhere around 2015, I think I actually finished it, or maybe it was 2013, 14, I don't know. It's been a while. It is a first draft. I never edited it. If you have not listened to anything else, you'll find out when you listen in a few minutes. If you have, you're cleared this. And we have my buddy Adam of ZOP Gaming.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
He is narrating. He is a first-time narrator.
First time ever.
Yep, and he's doing it in one take.
Well, of course. That's
Reading
why you
everything.
hired me, because I'm one take Adam.
Yeah, you should really learn how to do more than one take.
I don't need to.
But anyway, he's reading it for us, and then what we're doing is we're just going over what's going on, things that stuck out, what I was thinking of when I wrote this, if I can remember it. Remember, it's been about a decade, and just having fun at looking at some old writing. And I'm hoping to God I'm improved more than this. Again, though, it's still a first draft. So in a few minutes, Adam will read the chapter 12.
That's not even going to be a few minutes. It's a few moments.
Yeah, a few moments. It's
a moment in time.
He will start reading, but before we do that, if you're going to enjoy this video or narration, why don't you go in and smash that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
Oh, the great algorithm.
And, why not smash the subscribe button as well, because, awesome writing content.
Exactly. Skyler Grant. Written by Tim Green. Narrated by Adam Daley. Chapter 12. Jenna closed her eyes, knowing that what would happen. All of the things that happened today, she was going to die. She waited for the shot that would take her life. A loud bang echoed through the store. Nothing. She heard the shot fired. Even an orange flashed through her closed eyes. But she felt nothing. No different than when she closed her eyes. Jenna was not sure if she should feel anything at all, but she still felt the floor she sat on, the chip rack sticking in her back, but that was all. She figured she would feel a hole in her and blood pouring out, but she didn't. Jenna opened her eyes to see some debris on the floor before her. When she looked up, the man in the mask was not there. She looked a little further to that the window directly in front of her was cracked with a little blood on it. It had to be the blood of the cashier, but the window was not cracked before. "Jenna!" said a voice as her dad came running around the corner. "Jenna!" "Dad?" Jenna stood up as her father ran over to her, and they wrapped their arms around each other as they embraced. She couldn't be more happy to be held by her dad at that moment. Second time in that day, she had almost been taken away from him. This last time would have been permanent. Nothing Skyler could do could change that. After all, he can't bring someone back from the dead. He's not a god after all. "What happened?" asked Jenna, pulling away from her dad. Nice. Think on your feet," said Skyler. Jenna looked up to see him standing at the end of the aisle, calling your dad's phone to get your attention. "Thanks, but I did because I didn't want him walking in and accidentally get shot." 5 minutes earlier. Outside. Skyler got out of the truck, closing the door behind him as Jenna walked around the front of the truck towards the store. Skyler, however, walked around the back to where John was inserting the nozzle into the truck. He stood looking around, seeing who was around. Traffic, any cops, anything that might cause problems. After a minute of surveying the area, he turned and looked at John, who was looking in the opposite direction. It was obvious that he was trying to avoid looking at him, but that didn't stop Skyler. "You don't like me, do you?" asked Skyler, looking at John's back. "What?" asked John, slightly turning to face Skyler. What are you talking about? You don't have to pretend you didn't hear what I said, because it's kind of obvious that you were trying to avoid talking to me. John didn't say anything. He turned back, looking at the opposite direction. Skyler just smirked. He knew the trip was going to be very awkward. He turned around to headed back around the truck. I don't like you, said John, turning to face Skyler. Oh, really? Said Skyler, stopping and facing John. That is not the feeling I'm getting. Put yourself in my shoes. Some punk 14-year-old kid shows up and starts ordering you around, telling you what to do, without offering any answers. And after he finally says he will tell you everything you want to know, once on the road, but waits until someone brings it up hours after saying that once you were on the road. How would you react? How would you like that? I don't think you would like that at all. Skyler did not say anything at first. He knew that how he handled this situation was not the best way to do it. In any way, he knew that he did it. Because that how the last 6 months have been for him. Now finally he has control, so he's doing now what he was treated by Jing. However, he also knew that he couldn't have done it any other way, because without it, he couldn't be sure they would have come with him. I can see your point, but honestly, would you have come with me if I had told you what you know now? Knowing that I know only a little more than you? This was never part of the plan. You were supposed to stay home and never be bothered because they would come after me. I didn't expect the two of you to help me find the answers, let alone a fight. I'm trying to get you both somewhere safe for the time being, and then go back to making hell for those who have ISIS. A loud click as the gas pump stopped. The tank was full. John pulled the nozzle free from the trunk, set it back on the pump when he heard a faint ring. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small black flip phone. He looked at it before flipping it open. Hello? Hurry up! I'm going as fast as I can, sir. I think you're wasting time. You better not have hit that silent alarm. You did. Bang! John and Skyler dropped down low below view of anyone. John raised the phone to his ear, was about to say something when Skyler took off. Walking low, he crossed the road, leaned up against the building below the windows. He peered around, looking through the front doors to see the man in a mask behind the counter. Who's there? Skyler heard the man say. He began to pull back when he saw the man in the mask jump the counter, run down 3 aisles, and stop. This is your unlucky day. Skyler watched as he began to raise the shotgun to his shoulder. When he moved, he stood up, grabbed the handle of the door, threw it open, stepped inside, reached out his right hand, closed his hand into a fist. The moment his fist closed, he whipped his arm to the right. The man in the mask flew backwards as he fired the shotgun. Bang! He shot across the store, smashed into the window, and dropped down behind the counter. A slight red line began to form, and a small spot of blood began to run down the cracked window. Debris rained down from the ceiling where the bullet from hit. As he man in the mask had been thrown backwards, he raised his weapon as he fired. All right.
That wasn't confusing at all, Adam, right?
Not at all.
This is...
He-Man mask did that thing.
Exactly. This is... was it...
By the way, who was running? Was it John or Skyler?
This material right here is obviously for the Nobel Prize in Literature, right?
You mean a Pulitzer?
Yeah, Pulitzer Prize.
I was thinking you were going to get Game of the Year for this. 1994's Game of the Year on PC and Nintendo.
All right, Adam. So what do you want to talk about for this chapter?
All right. So I understand what you were trying to do, which was give the Skyler and John reference. By the way, you could have given me a better idea that it was John talking and not the, whatever.
When you messed up his voice?
Yeah, totally. Because that was more of a Skyler thing to say than a John thing to say. But you know what? Whatever. I don't hate you. What? Are you purposely using double negatives? No, I'm not using them. It's like, oh, son of a... Now you're tripling up.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. One thing I was actually impressed with at the beginning of the chapter when Jenna was describing not feeling anything.
That was great.
Seeing the flashes, but not feeling anything. But she could feel the chip rack.
The floor, the chip rack in her back.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I actually went into that much detail.
Like, that actually was really cool because it was taken from, like, clearly, like, that moment of, okay, I mean, if I'm in shock or I'm dead, I shouldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
But I'm missing the one thing that should let me know that I'm injured, at least. That pain. And I got the other stuff. I could smell it, like adding in the smell in the air, the ringing in her ears, but not feeling the pain.
Yeah.
That was actually that is really cool.
One thing. So
and
by
then,
the way,
then the 5 minutes earlier,
Skyler
running around and John also running around. I don't know.
Yeah, that whole part was a little too long in my taste.
You could have made that also one chapter.
That could have been like easily condensed down in a second draft.
I mean, also you could have started with Skyler outside, where we don't know what's going on with Jenna, and then Skyler does that, and then it cuts to Jenna going,
"No,
what?
No, because the whole point of that shot was to raise.
Skyler runs in.
No,
bang.
Not even that. What you do is you do that whole part with Skyler and John first.
Oh yeah.
But when the phone rings, then you cut to Jenna present time in there.
Yes.
When she pops back, opens her eyes and sees it, then you go back 2 minutes earlier.
Well, no, there's two gunshots. He shoots the gun. So that first gunshot you can have from, and bang, Skyler immediately starts running for the store.
Bang, they drop.
Yeah.
Okay, present time. You're fencing for shot because we know she's waiting.
Because you've said it, so, but like the way that you could write it was that, John and Skyler's conversation goes all the way up to the first bang.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But then you go cut to...
and then you cut immediately to Jenna.
Yes.
But then when can play with them because you're like, wait a second. You can easily have just Skyler go, yeah, I threw him into the wall.
But then you could, the jumping around, the jump cuts and everything, you then could go back to, okay, that was 5 minutes earlier. This is after Jenna opens her eyes and goes, what happened? 2 minutes earlier. Then you see Skyler
sprinting to the store like the super 14-year-old, 16, 15-year-old superhero that he really is.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Where
that dude loses and gains age constantly. Is that his superpower?
Apparently.
Also, what is his superpower? Because clearly it's not learning things quickly. Thank you, Jing, for being that sarcastic bastard and being like, no, it's not that. You know what? Never mind.
But by the way, I was completely wrong because we were speculating what was the point of this scene.
Yeah.
And I was almost convinced it can't be for Skyler to save her again. And it's exactly
it's literally him saving her life again. Twice in one day.
Yeah. So...
I thought you were building to her power suddenly showing up.
See, that's what I was actually thinking about doing, I think maybe that was what I was going for, but then when I got there, I forgot that, and I went
You just went with this instead.
or I didn't think about that, and I was just trying to again show hype up Skyler first. If I was to redo this now, because this has become a constant theme throughout these episodes of me just saying if I was to rewrite this scene now, I would give a hint of Skyler, Jenna's powers. We hear bang. But then Skyler comes in, pulls it, but she's not there. She comes in. She's like in a different aisle over. But she doesn't tell them what happened.
Because she confused as well.
But she doesn't know. She just like
What the
pops back up. She doesn't even realize. It's until later she realizes
get over here.
she was in a different spot.
Yeah.
And
It's
this way,
funnier that she's now in the cooler. And she's like, okay, now I'm in here, guys.
something like that, or
Where's the door?
Or maybe we missed something like when she closed her eyes, the bang she moved.
She has a bubble shield now.
There's a gap between her closing her eyes and him firing.
Yeah.
It's her moving, and that we're going to reveal that later.
But we're not doing that at all.
If I wasn't going to give a hint of her powers here, that's something I would do there. It's like, okay, let's make her braver. She closes her eyes, but then he doesn't fire, and then when she opens, he's kind of tweaking, like it's like he's looking at her like
He's a tweaker, man.
no, he's nervous, but like he's going to, but then he's like looking around, like, and she takes a second to hit him or something, like grabs at some Pringles and then throws at him and run or something like that. I don't know. I'd probably use, if there's anything, I'd probably actually show a hint of her powers here.
Yeah.
More than likely, but yeah. Oh, by the way, the guy in the mask, did he actually go through the window behind the cache?
No. He just smacked into it.
Yeah, but the way there was wording that made it sound like he went through the wood. He went through the window, but then at the same time he smacked against that window and slid down, and there was that's the blood streak.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
he's basically now sitting by the cashier.
yeah, but it just
The cashier he killed.
there is a spot, a little bit of it that made it sound like he went through that window.
Nope, didn't go through it.
And then he also did not go through it. And
It's
slid
shatter
down.
resistant.
Almost like there was like a window first.
Skyler even went over to it, tapped it, looked directly at the non-existent camera, and went real glass.
Wow. You can bring that into this, Adam.
Hey, you know what?
You gotta have your fun.
You can. All I gotta say is, man, the Crimea River, it's in the Ukraine. It doesn't need to be in this room. So you don't need to cry me a river.
You're the one who's crying me a river.
Shut up! I try my best over here. This is the thanks I get.
But what do you think of this?
I raised you for 9 months.
You raised me nothing.
You were nothing but a boy in a 20-something, 30-something-year-old body, and I molded you into what you are tonight.
We met in 2016.
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
Anyway, what did you think of this chapter overall?
I like the concept of this chapter because it is kind of, you are leaning into a little bit more of the manga anime influence here, because it's like, hey, I'm having a conversation with this older guy who doesn't actually trust me, but he doesn't hate me.
Yeah.
And, because when I finally revealed my secret was, I don't know shit.
Yeah. I'm just trying to save you guys.
And then, he hears the gunshot go off in a room where he knows that she is wanted for her potential superpower. Yeah. He doesn't know what's going on. Dad's like, that's my daughter. As he says in the most gravelly of gravelly voices.
Yeah.
It's like two pieces of granite rubbing against each other.
Yeah.
Not polished either.
Rough
cut.
Well, one of the things that is just to show, like, the instinct of both John and Skyler to just drop.
Oh, yeah.
But then to Skyler to go, like,
because
take off.
Because at the same time, they're also hunted.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been at us. We don't know.
The dive and the hide, but then look around, and then Skyler takes off to find it. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I did it, was to kind of again show like, oh, he'll react, but once he gets
his bearings, he's like, okay.
He acts.
Once he realizes that the danger is not, for him,
Yeah.
he then reacts to it.
Yeah. But this would have been a good time to give Jenna a moment.
Oh, it would have been
something at least.
The cool thing in my mind of what Jenna could have done with her powers is basically a force field, but it stops the shells from going off, so it blows the shotgun up in his face.
Kind of like forces him back.
Yes, and like his hands are all messed up. He hits the window and slides down it. So that way, when Skyler gets in there, he comes through the door just as the second shot comes off, and he sees the guy hit it and slide down. He's like, actually, "How did you do that?" And she's like, "How did I do what?"
No,
and her eyes are just closed.
Or what you could do is you do that, but you time it with Skyler coming in and grabbing him to throw him at the same time.
Like he thinks that he's throwing him.
Yep.
But in reality, he's actually kind of saving the guy's life.
Yeah.
Because instead of it fully blowing up in his face, because I mean, it's a shotgun, it's on his shoulder.
Yeah.
It gets like pulled out of him, so it doesn't blow his face off. Instead, it's both of his hands are all messed up now.
Yeah.
He's got shrapnel in his chest and.
Yeah, so something like that, or and then you could later on, once her power, if she had force field powers, because I don't think she has force field powers. Someone else I think has force field powers.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think that might be Isis. Actually, has it's one of hers, if I remember correctly.
Of course, things are going to deflect off from Isis. Yes, I needed to say that.
But I can't remember what. The only one I know for sure for Jenna is teleportation.
Okay.
Oopsie, I spoiled that. The only one I know for sure is I can't tell you because it's a spoiler. I'll have to try to remember to cut that one out.
Yeah.
I probably won't, but
it's okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this should have been a time where to give her some characterization more than the question mark.
Oh my God! Like what? Dad?
Yeah. So.
By the way, that was actually kind of fun. Of Jenna. Dad.
But yeah, so we're doing Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, kind of.
Just instead of it's Jenna.
Well, I mean, really, Skyler's the one that already kicked that off with the old "I say," and going all Highlander on the building.
Yeah. But yeah. So, anything else you want to add to this one?
Well, I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
This is actual, and the fact that we can look at it and go, look, it's meant to be rough.
Oh, yeah.
There are points where clearly the wrong word was used, and there are points where I see that it's written wrong, and I correct it.
Yeah.
And there are other times where I just go, I don't even know how to correct this, so I'm just reading it.
Yeah. You're supposed to only read it as is and not correct
but sometimes you naturally get on because you know how how that sentence should work.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, yeah, well, I'm not saying weld at the end because it's supposed to be, and they jump into the well, not the weld.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your turn. Are you enjoying this and having as much fun as we are?
Yes, you are.
Down in the comment section.
Yes, you are.
According to Adam, he's trying to use the Jedi mind trick through audio to tell you that you are. Hopefully you are enjoying this. If you are, why don't you go and smash that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm because it helps us grow the channel.
Yes.
And also, again, subscribe. Because awesome writing content, speaking of that awesome writing content, 2 videos will be on screen right now so that can help you out. So go and check one of those out, and I'll see you in the one that you check out. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.